G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map, playing in the colour green as the Ottomans, it's Lash. And in the south side of the map, playing in the colour teal, also as the Ottomans, as his villagers make a little bit of a dash over towards the western wood line, it's Snooper. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to I was going to say to Lipany. This is not Lipany, this is Wetlands. We're here in what is probably one of the strangest maps to have ever made it into the competitive pool. It's just, I just feel like, I don't really know how we justify this map being here. There's just so much wrong with this map still. But look, I probably shouldn't shit talk it a whole bunch. Except for the fact that Snooper's got to walk 6 times further to get to his stone mine. Look at the stone mine, it's so far away. Jeez Louise, that is a long way to walk. Now we got ourselves an Ottoman mirror. Now, I don't normally like to cover mirrors. Normally, I think they're a little bit of a snooze fest. I don't get too excited by them, and that's why I avoid them. But this match here, these are 2 top-level players. And I think that the Ottomans are probably in a position where we can expect to see a little bit of diversity in strategies. There's a lot of different schools of thought about how you can play them. And I think this is what we've started to see with the Ottomans, is that they've really started to open up with the differences that you can start with. You can go for an Anatolian Hills play. You probably wouldn't do it on this map because there's so much damn food. You can go for a meta drums play. You can look to play that Feudal Age, or you can go for field work and look to get those imams out onto the field, look to try and get those relics in nice and early in the castle age. So there's a lot of options for you. And speaking of options, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to tell you a little bit about the Patreon, which will give you plenty of options to get better at Age of Empires 4. Are you keen to get better at Age of Empires 4? Are you interested in watching someone else get coached or getting some one-on-one coaching for yourself? If so, check out the Patreon, where you can find dozens of coaching videos where I personally guide players through the process of improvement, with new videos being added every single week. With coaching for all skill levels and for all civilizations, there's something for everyone. Now, when it comes to my credentials, while I might not be the Red Bull Wallalol champion, I'm still a pretty decent skill level, sitting at the Conqueror 3 ranking for 1v1. So if you are interested in some coaching, make sure you check out the Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description. Now let's get back to the action. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what direction these players decide to go this game, whether it's going to be more orientated around that castle age. I suspect it probably will. I feel like probably the best opening that you can go with the Ottomans is a men-at-arm, or I should say not opening, but rather the best combo that you can go is a men-at-arm archer combo. And this men-at-arm is obviously very difficult to deal with in the second age if you are as the Ottomans. So I do suspect that we'll probably see some pretty quick castle ages coming out from both of these guys, but who knows? Who knows? Because obviously if you go for meta drums earlier, even if you just look to get out a single meta on the field, your meta can provide an extra 2 melee armor. And when you start thinking, when you start including fitted leatherwork in that, then your Spahis have got, a total of 3 armor. It's starting to look a little bit better, a little bit more formidable. And obviously all of your units get that 3 armor. But it's going to be a military school opening from both of these players. No real surprise there. Obviously, the military school pays off the longer that you've got it. And so the fact that these guys have dropped their military schools down ASAP means that they're going to be able to get out on the map and take a look at exactly what it's got for them. But interestingly, both of them just going to be playing defensive. We can see that the spearmen, for both players, just kind of chilling out. And I think this is the right call. You don't really want to throw away these spearmen because you're not going to be getting too much. And we do see Twin Minaret Madrasa coming down now for Lash. What's it going to be for Snooper, though? Does he look to go for some trade? That's going to be my question, because this is a pretty decent map for trade. Have a look at this trade post. It is smack bang in the corner. This one here, it's up against the edge, but still got a little, probably fit a house in behind there. So you could go for trade, but even if you did, I still feel like it's probably not the best to invest in the trade landmark. You kind of want that trade to come in a little bit later, but I mean, we did see Salami do pretty well with that trade, and it's going to be Twin Minaret Madrasa coming down for Snooper as well. So no real surprises here on this map. Lumber Camp going to get dropped down now for Snooper. And I guess I'm curious, because we've started to see more and more fast castles coming along. We've seen the second town center kind of fall off in favor of that faster castle age. So are we going to be seeing double fast castles out today? Are we going to be seeing any trade out today? Obviously, when it comes to trade, the Ottomans probably one of the best civs in the game for trade. Not necessarily because of their early game like the Mongols. The Mongols have got a really good early game for trade. But the Ottomans have got a great late game trade. They've got 2 really big things that add to their trade. The first one is going to be trade bags. It's a unique vizier point available on the second tier of the Imperial Council. I think it's called the Imperial Council Vizier system, whatever you want to call it. The second one is going to be that Sea Gate Castle. It's a landmark available in the Imperial Age that's going to boost up the movement speed and the armor of your traders. And look at this, Snooper, a little bit of a mistake, going idle for 5 seconds. Jeez Louise, you don't expect that from a Conqueror 3 player, do you? But today is the day. Now, of course, these guys both very high rated. At the moment, Lash, I think he's hovering around rank 35, rank 36, something around that. Snooper sitting a little bit higher. I'm not 100% sure where Snooper is at the moment, but he's Australian, so we're going to have to give him a couple of extra points just for that. Now, I will also let you guys know, as we get into the Feudal Ages, that both of these guys do stream. They're both content creators. I haven't met Snooper. I haven't met Lash. I met him over in Germany. He mainly streams in German, but I think he does occasionally stream in English. So I'll leave a link to him, as well as Snooper. He's probably streaming live right now. He's an Australian. He speaks in English, so you can go check him out as well. He's a bit of a banter boy, though, so watch out for him. He will banter you. We do see 3 vills moving out at the moment onto the stone outcropping, and I love that he's gone for this stone outcropping instead of the one over here on the west. Is like, nah, I'm just going to cut my losses. I'll take this one in the middle. But it's a faraway move for him, though. You can see that at the moment Snooper is looking to see what his enemy's up to. Great scouting coming through from Snooper here. Spots out the mining camp on the stone mine. So the trick here is going to be to see how many vills are on this stone mine, because this is going to tell you, is he going to be making a second town center, or is this just going to be for military schools? And you've got your answer when you see those 2 vills coming through. It is just going to be for military schools. And we do see plenty of vills here on the food at the moment. Not a whole lot of gold being stacked up, but neither player looking to be really aggressive, just kind of focusing on the economies. Take a look back at home. And now we start seeing some aggression coming through. Lash going to be opening barracks and archery range. This seems like a bit of an interesting one, but it does make sense. Why are you going to go for a barracks? Well, think about it. As soon as Snooper gets up to the castle age, or rather the feudal age, what's the most normal thing that you do? You put your military school on Sparky. So naturally, Lash says, well, I'm just going to make a barracks just because I know that Sparky is going to be coming out. But look at this. Snooper with a brain the size of a lemon in the head the size of a watermelon. Switches it up. It goes for an archer. Never seen that one before, Snooper. As I said, we like to banter with Snooper. And take a look at this sacred site. I mean, you've got such a beautiful natural wall here on this sacred site. Good luck ever trying to contest this sacred site as Lash. Stone wall comes up here. 17 keeps on this side. And you basically... I mean, look at these sacred sites. We can just wall these bad boys off. Now, let's check and see what Snooper's going to be opting for. Now, I'm suspecting that, judging by Snooper's macro, he's probably going to be going for imams here. It would seem... he could also go for the meta drums, but I feel like imams just make so much sense. He's obviously going fast castle. 7 vills on gold is going to give that away by a country mile. Compare that over to Lash on the other side. His vizier point probably going to be meta drums. Now, we haven't seen anything come out of the town center just yet, but obviously when you look at the production that's coming out here, this looks, if anything, like it's going to be feudal age. There's no real 2 ways about it. Has picked up double broadaxe, does have the wheelbarrow, so he is very intent on gathering up as much wood as he can. And now starting to push out. He's actually going to force back any villages that were out here. Obviously gathered up the 100 stone already. But checking now back in with Snooper. And we do see he did go for the imams. So this is what I was talking about when it comes to the diversity of strategies. You know, while I don't normally like to cover games that are... How does he see through that? How does he see... I'm sorry, but this is so silly. You can't see through this wood line. This is so silly. It's 2 trees thick. You don't have the right to see through this wood line. And this is just the consequence of this map, right? Like, it's just... Look at this. I'm sure you can probably see through this as well. It's just a consequence of this map. It's just unfortunately not the best. The resource gen on this map is just not the best. The design of the map is good. It's just the resource gen really needs a lot of work. But Snooper about to click up. Look at this. About an 8-minute 20 click up from Snooper. He's going to be able to... Well, he knows he's close. He wants the 3k. And obviously, Lash is going to spot that as well. And Lash is going to continue funneling units to the front line. Expect to see some upgrades coming through. We know that he's already got +1 ranged armor. The question is whether he's going to be looking for siege engineering as well. Let's double check and see what we've got. No, nothing just yet on that way. But look at this. Just really Snooper under pressure right now. He's got enough resources to click up. Mangonel could be coming out shortly. He's going to need to place that blacksmith down right here and then go for the MIA here. He hasn't really left him spot for an MIA. And this is very awkward because he could be in a tough spot and loses an imam this early. Oh, you hate to lose an imam like that. Snooper making a bit of a mistake, fending off this position. Interestingly, still not clicking up Snooper. He's had the resources for it for quite some time. And there's the MIA going to go down at the front of the base. Townsend are going to be able to hold it out for the moment. Plenty of damage coming down on that Sparky. But you can see Lash doing a great job of just controlling the early tempo. And look at this behind. I was starting to think, is Lash going for something more orientated around the castle age as well? But no, he's stacking up quite a lot of resources here. We enter into the 9-minute 30 mark, and he's stacking up 900 wood. That is a lot of wood, and I can tell you right now, there's no plans for him to move into a farm at all. That is only going to be, for units. And speaking of units, look at the villagers. I love that the villagers just get into the fight. He's like, you know what? Stuff it, man. We're gonna fight this one out. We're gonna settle this one. We're gonna settle this score. MIA though, still under pressure. This is the consequence of not leaving this position open for the MIA. One of the things I always talk about is you want to leave a back adjacent town center spot open for your MIA, so that this military school, if it was down here, you can put the blacksmith in here, because now he's going to have to drop down 2 blacksmiths, or just put like one right there. Spahi coming through. He's got that ranged armor, remember, so he's going to take less damage from that town center. Meta nowhere to be seen on that front side. It is over on the back side. Lost a lot of health. Archer's managing to push out. Snooper's staying alive, even though he's down a couple of vills now. Twin Minaret Madrasa. No horticulture just yet. Snooper has picked it up. MIA about to come through. And we can see behind this that Lash is going to be going Castle Age with almost no... Like, realistically, there hasn't been any delay. Like, okay, Snooper's up to the Castle Age. His Mangonel starts ticking at about 10 minutes 40. So you can expect to see his Mangonel coming out at 12 minutes 40. But that's going to be on the condition that he gets a blacksmith down. There's still no blacksmith here. Blacksmith's on the back side, and this is the consequence of going for that MIA on the front side, is now you've got to make a separate blacksmith for it on the front. You've got to move your next expansion point's going to be out here. We do see Snooper doing some pretty decent expansion. I like the fact that he's leaving a tile, or a gap of 1 tile here. It's going to mean that he can build an extra couple of production buildings in here. Relic number 1 gets picked up. MIA going down over for his enemy on the opposite side of the map. We do see that the MIA going to be once again coming outside the range of a blacksmith. But so much production here. Look at the amount of production that we've got for Lash here. I think this just speaks volumes to the power of the Ottoman economy. So many units can be made from these Ottoman buildings. It's just kind of crazy. You can just pump them out in the blink of an eye. It's right on board down on the south side though. Check in with Snooper as he begins moving across the map. Knights going to be the first of the units he brings over to the enemy side of the map. He's got a little bit of a score lead at the moment. He's up 200 points. The question's going to be whether he can even up that villager count. He's lost 2 vills, 3 vills early on. He's looking for more. No scouting. No real information, but there are villagers there. He's going to come straight in towards that gold mine, but look at that. Lash responding immediately to the threat of the Knights. They are looming. Military school going to be coming in, so that means he's picked up military campus. Definitely a wise move for Lash. Now those Knights coming in. Definitely seems like Snooper may have bitten off more than he can chew. There's a lot of units here. Archer's going to be going down. The new age begins right now for Lash. And Snooper, unfortunately, losing all of those archers to the Spahi. It looks like the rest of the forces will be chased away. So, definitely a ballsy move by Snooper. We'll pick up 1 villager. This actually isn't terrible for him. As long as he doesn't really commit with those archers, he's fine. And now more Knights coming through. MIA buffed up. 1:49 until Mangonel number 1 is out. Over on Snooper's side, he's got 47 seconds. So by the time Snooper's Mangonel gets across the map, Lash's Mangonel is going to be ready. So I think this is another one of those cases where I think once the meta evolves a little bit, you will see people play more heavy on the feudal side. It's the same thing like with the Abbasid dynasty. You guys remember the Abbasid dynasty? Like, the reason why 3TC will always beat 2TC is by the time the 2TC player gets over to the side of the map of the 3TC player, the 3TC player can actually defend, and they've got all the tools that they need to defend. So I think we might see that same sort of concept evolve. Nice little cleanup back up here for Snooper. Crossbow is going to be coming out now for Lash, though. This is exactly what he needs. Those 4 archery ranges really coming in handy, and look how many he's got in queue. This is just speaking volumes to the economy of the Ottomans. The fact that he can produce out of 4 archery ranges simultaneously, 2 rounds, it's crazy. He's got a really good mass coming out now. But remember, the Mangonel is the threat. And there's so much here. So many archers, so many ranged units, that this Mangonel's not going to have too much trouble finding a good target to hit. Decent damage coming out. Crossbows together with the archers. Going to be able to pick off a 2nd Knight. Looking to try and tee off towards that 3rd one. No upgrades coming through just yet for these military units of Snooper. We'll ride on board with him over on the south side of the map and see what he's up to as the next military schools begin getting dropped down. He's gone into military campus as well. No real surprises there. One of the stronger vizier points. Almost a guarantee to pick it up. In fact, I will just say a guarantee to pick it up. Everyone's going to pick up military campus. You'd be crazy not to. But that Mangonel's got to be careful. Now, I think the question is, do any of these players, or do either of these players look into Springalds as an option for them? One of the things I like to tell people when you're playing against the Ottomans, you know that the Mangonel's going to be coming. So allow your composition to anticipate that. If you're playing China against Ottomans, then don't play a knight crossbow composition. Play into Palace Guard spearman composition with some nested bees behind. Maybe throw in some Springalds. It's the same thing here. Do we dare see them change their compositions based on the fact that there is going to be a very high likelihood that Mangonels are coming? Snooper looking up towards that top side of the map. The first Mangonel now for Lash rolling off the blocks. Decent military pop here for Lash. Keep in mind, a lot of them are archers, though. 17 crossbows. That is a lot of crossbows. That is a lot of crossbows. That is a huge amount of crossbows. 17. What are you going to do with 17 crossbows? That is a lot. Villager now moving out. Going to be doing some walls, some shift walling. I do like this. The knights are in position, though. And look at the timing on this by Snooper. He's just left them here long enough that he's going to be able to clean up this Vill without even dropping down a single palisade wall. As I say that, he does do it. Look at the knights already coming through with the charge. How does Snooper have vision on this? Oh, he's got a scout here with his army. So the scout is going to give him plenty of vision. He's going to be able to spot out those villagers from a long way away. This is that extra mobility, all right? You've got crossbows, which will beat the knights. But now the crossbows are going to run through the base. They're going to get to the knights. They're not even going to do it, though. They're looking to push down on the front. It's going to leave Snooper in a really good position here. Might be able to pick up villagers, and we can see there was a little bit of a stutter step right there coming through. Lash going to be losing a huge amount of vills, and look at this. Up to 11 worker kills already for Snooper. Mangonel, no, Mangonel, not like this. No, Mangonel. You were the chosen one, and you just chose to die. Second Mangonel coming out. Snooper not really paying attention. Too busy on the other side of the map. Beautiful timing there. Now trying to get back, needs to pull Vills. Janissary's going to get pulled. He goes for the Janissary Company. Snooper going for Janissary Company right now. No, there can't be. There's only 2 Janissaries out. There should be 8 Janissaries. He's made these Janissaries? Where did he get the Janissaries from? Mangonel's gone down though. Snooper in trouble. Trouble in paradise. He's going to be heading back towards his own side of the base. Mangonel's on the backside. He should be able to clean this up without too much of a hassle. But it didn't really represent much of a threat to him. The threat, though, for Lash was that Mangonel, and he was able to take out both of them. Able to take out the meta as well. That's going to be debuffing a lot of those units, or rather just not buffing them up. Spearman numbers coming out as well. And this looks like it might be over at this point. Lash just cleaning house right now with Snooper. All came in on that early feudal play. Villagers already idle inside this outpost. And hold your horses right now, because Lash is a little bit discombobulated. He's all over the spot. And we hear relics getting picked up behind it. Snooper's going to be picking up the 3rd relic somewhere out there. Somewhere in the middle of the map, I suspect. No, on the west. No, I've got no clue where that relic is. It's been picked up somewhere. There it is, up there towards that northern position. But the cleanup comes through. And I did hear the guns blazing of Janissaries. But look at this, this is 100% an overcommitment here from Lash. He moves into the enemy base. He's trying to block the production, but the thing is the town center's just going to be able to fire upon it. And with the military schools, you're never going to be able to camp production in the same way that you can do other civilizations. This is what makes the Ottomans different on defense. You can't camp an Ottoman player. Because if you do, even though Snooper's running idols, right? He's got 15 idols at the moment. He's effectively sitting on 27 villages here. So he's got a reduced economy. He's not pumping out anything from the stables, but his military schools are still working overtime. And that gives him enough units that he's able to defend. He's able to hold on. And sure, he doesn't even up the military count, but he definitely gives himself a better leg to stand on. Villagers under pressure over on this west side. Lash trying his best to cause a little bit of pain, the same pain that Snooper caused him. And indeed, he's going to be doing that. Look at the villager kills this game already. 16 for Lash, 14 for Snooper. Spearman going to be moving out. I've got their hardened upgrade. Looking for that veterancy. There it comes through right now. Snooper definitely doing the right thing. And now we hear another Vizier point coming through. What's he going to go for? I think at this point, you could probably look for something like Advanced Academy. That could be an option for you. But I think that it's really important to save a point for trade bags, and you want to save a point for Siege Crews. Siege Crews is such an underrated technology. And sure, it's nice to have like your units producing a little bit faster, but at the end of the day, like slightly faster producing units versus an extra 25% attack speed on all of your siege. I know what I'm taking. But now we've got those Spahi moving in. Interestingly, no knights coming out from Lash. I do find this kind of strange. Mangonel gonna unpack. Gets a good shot off. Look at that. Right as the enemy turned around, he was able to get that shot off. Janissary numbers are pretty decent here as well. He's got 8 Janissaries. He might have moved into it. Mangonel gonna get a beautiful shot off. Hits so many units. Mangonel number 2 on the other side. It's just unpacking and repacking. He's grouped everything up. Mangonel gonna unfire, unpack, hits the back line, takes out a single crossbowman. At the same time, a little bit of a raid coming through. It's gonna be a Sparky getting up to mischief. But those Janissaries getting whomped right there with the crossbows. The Mangonel just really connecting, getting so much value. And now you can see the reason why I raised the concept or the prospect of a Springald. Can you imagine if there was a Springald coming out right now, shutting down this Mangonel? It would have made all the difference, a world of difference. But once again, Snooper going to be on the back foot. And the wall's starting to come up now. All the walls on the west side of the map, east side of the map, also Snooper looking to wall in. Up towards the north. Lash is also walled in, so these guys are drawing out their territory. This is mine, this is yours. Snooper claiming what is rightfully his. He spawned near it. That's the old adage, isn't it? I spawned near it, therefore I get it. And look at the space that he's got in the way that he's built this is so funny to me. He's gone for like the 1 tile space, which is an actual thing, but then he's just kind of forgotten about it and he's just like randomly thrown in production buildings anywhere and everywhere. Interesting play by Snooper. But now his wall's going to be drawing in plenty of attention. This is really nice, right? Because your enemy's army's over here. They're not really achieving much. Like, yeah, they break through. What are you going to do? You're just going to move your villagers over to, like, another spot. You take them over here. You know, like, it's not a big deal. But look at this. Imam going to be coming out. This is the ultimate counter to the Mangonel, right? Think about it from the perspective of a Mangonel. What are you doing? You're doing AoE damage, all right? Mangonel going to be doing 12 AoE damage with 3 burst attacks. So 36 AoE damage. Now, it does that, like, what? Once every 6 seconds? Once every 7 seconds. And in that 7 seconds, an Imam can heal 7 health of every single unit that stands around it. Not to mention the herbal medicine healing is going to be increasing. He doesn't have herbal medicine yet, but he's going to be increasing the health of somebody else. And then remember that 36 damage, it's 36 damage in the middle. It's not going to be 36 damage all around. So that Imam, that Vizier point, really might come in useful here. Villagers going to be running away very quickly. Snooper with a beautiful composition here. Going to be going Spearman crossbows. A very common comp that we see typically out of the Mongols. But it looks like it's going to be coming in strong here. Mangonel trying to come up towards the front. Gets a shot off. It's going to fall short a little bit. Go wide as well. Villagers need to be careful. He's lost 23 villagers this game. Lash doing a really decent job. But once again, those Janissaries on the backside. Looking, trying to defend the Mangonel. Counterattack up towards the north. He could pull 2-3 villagers on that. That's fine. That'll be okay. Now those numbers really starting to look good for Lash. And where does he go from here? Because we're still on 1 base at this point. Both players still on 1 base. Still really committing to this fast castle style of play. And we do finally see a Springald coming out. I never thought I'd see one. I never thought I'd see the day. Now I think this has also been scouted out by Lash. So Lash should know to be a little bit careful here. Villagers do get pulled right on time for the palisade wall. And he's going to be able to repair through. So he'll be fine over on that front. We'll need to send units out there eventually. Spearman going to be here to meet all of the Sparky. Plenty of Spearmen here as well. Knight's going to be coming through as well. Looking to try and get a charge in on the Mangonel. The Springald, rather. The Springald survives on 14 health. Villagers should hopefully be able to repair that bad boy up. But unfortunately, losing a lot of units right there. At the same time, over on the west side, these villagers still working their magic. And look at this. A little bit of a counterattack. He might get out of position, though. If he gets stuck behind the walls, Snooper could look to clinch this. Snooper could be in a wonderful spot if he recognizes this. Spots the Mangonel. Also going for a keep in the middle here. Very bold keep. Second Mangonel also coming out. And he's got complete awareness of this. We'll open a hole in this gate. Or we'll open a hole in this wall. Villagers all get out. They're absolutely fine. No problem at all for him. And then over towards the center of the map, the keep is going to be going up. Beautiful position at the same time. A little bit of a raid. Jeez, Lash so aggressive with these raids non-stop, but at the same time, Snooper not fixing those holes in those damn walls. And look at the villagers managing to make it over towards the edge of the map. He's trying his hardest to hold on. Mangonel shots. Keep going to be going up here. Remember, we talked about this, the prospect of a sacred site victory. This keep is going to be very difficult to take. You might be able to get some trebs on the other side of the wood line. Mangonel number 1, though, going to be taken down. This is the Spearman doing such a top job, and Snooper all of a sudden in a really good spot. Villagers, no. Villagers, no. Villagers, no. Don't do it. You were so young, Villagers. 24 minutes young. And speaking of 24 minutes, let's switch that bad boy over. Look at this. Lash actually just going to be attacking the mill. And Snooper all of a sudden coming out of the boxes. But, oh my lord, look at this force. I mean, Snooper could just clean this up right now, right? Like, he just sends a couple mangonels back and cleans this up completely. He's hunting for villagers. You can tell he's on a Vill hunt. Normally this time of year, you'd be hunting bears. Actually, is it rabbit season or duck season? I'm not 100% sure, but these guys, I mean, it's Ottoman season. It's Vill season for them. Look at them. Just when the Vills thought it was berry season. No, sorry, Bob. That is a radical wabbit. And he's willing to write a new story. Spearman numbers. I feel like the Spearmen are being so strong this game. Look at the mangonel shots, though. 31 villager losses to 26. Snooper slowly evening it up. The middle of the map, Keeper's going to be keeping it up. Doing the right thing, and now Lash under pressure. Something we haven't seen all game. I mean, we saw a couple of raids come through. But now there's some real pressure. He's going to need to be going for a siege workshop here himself. Otherwise, how does he deal with the siege from his enemy? He has a distinct lack of counter siege. And look at this. He's trying to draw the forces back of his enemy. This is what this was all about. He knew that there was a death push that could be coming. And Snooper indeed pushing. Really looking to go ham here. Towards the middle of the map. That keep... Once again, I think that... Is he rallying like horsemen down or Sparky down here? That might be the case. But now Snooper in prime position. And you can see Lash. He made the gambit and it hasn't paid off. Because a single mangonel is going to be able to hold it. So Snooper doing the right thing and not going back. That, my friend, is called the Lash Gambit. The German Gambit right there coming in. I don't know exactly what we'd call it. But he's basically made an attempt to draw the army back. He said, hey, I'm putting all my army down here. You better bring your army back here as well. And now he's going to get cleaned up by the keep in the middle. Oh, it's gone terrible for Lash. It was looking so good. The start were opened perfectly. The mid-game was going well, but now as we enter the 26th minute, things are starting to look a lot worse for our German friend. Mangonel shot hits the front line. It's a pretty decent split there from Snooper, but I don't think it was intentional, so I'm not going to give him credit for it. Still no Springles coming out from the side of Lash. So the Springles from Snooper have got free reign over the Mangonel. Speaking of Mangonel, some good shots coming off. Let's ride on board with Lash. I want to see his perspective. These units did make their way up, but there's only 3 of them. And now we enter into the cinematic mode as it's time. Lash is determined. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. He spots out the siege on the back line, but the spearmen come in. They're able to hold it off. Mangonel's firing off towards those ranged infantry. At the same time, a couple of men-at-arms making their way through. Beautiful split, beautiful micro coming in from Lash. Look at the angles right now. Oh my lord, he's looking like a production value of $1 billion company. There are so many angles on this position. He's holding for dear life, but the Mangonel still looks strong. He's yet to take out either of them. They've been firing this entire time. Now more reinforcements coming in. It looks like, what are these units? Where are their spears? There they are. They were hiding them in their pockets and bring them out at the last second, but it looks like it's going to be a cleanup. Lash managing to keep himself alive despite losing all of this production. He knew that he needed to hold on. He knew he couldn't take the fight until he could win it, and that's exactly what he does. Now those Sparky's going to be able to clean up the rest of the siege, and Snooper going to be put onto the back foot as Lash manages to clean up an absolutely beautiful position and beautiful push from Snooper. But what a game we've got. It's just swung back and forth. And I'm starting to think more about this might be a contender for Game of the Year. I mean, it's getting there, right? But you're not seeing the big ticket items. We're not seeing those crazy Wallalols just yet. But we are seeing some crazy swings. And that's what I always look for. Whenever I'm thinking about a Game of the Year contestant, I'm looking for swings. I want to see something, you know, in the early game. Someone who's under pressure. Oh, my lord. Just when I say we haven't seen any Wallalols, we hear the Wallalol siren go off. Could it be Game of the Year? Super's fighting for it. He wants it. It's a contender, that's for sure, but I mean, how does it go down? We don't see any trade coming out just yet. No markets coming through for either of these guys. Obviously, Sacred Site's not really contested. Snoopers secures up the one in the center, but that's it. And he's just minding his own business for now. Village account, not really making much of a difference. Even though you look at this village account and you're like, 53 versus 46, Lash is so far ahead. Don't worry, little Johnny. He's not that far ahead. Because he's lost all of his military schools. How many military schools does he actually have right now? He's got a single military school and an MIA. That's it. Compare that over to Snooper, who's got 4 military schools, the MIA, and has also got 3 relics with 1 en route. Single relic out here remains though for a Walla or 2. Now a keep going to be coming up in the center. So I think when you're attacking this sacred site, the best way to think about it is like where is the most open point that I can attack from? You obviously can't attack from the south, but you can attack from the east. So I think this keep goes a long way into securing this main area, because if you can secure this area, then you know you're not going to get cut off behind here, which means that you can then begin to push out over towards the east, which is exactly what we see him doing. And this is where the battlefield lays. Battlefield lies? Battlefield lays? I don't know. There's a battlefield over here, and this is where it lay. This is where in the battlefield is lay. I'm speaking a combination of Bible, King James, and German. So I do apologize. I'm neither religious nor German. So I'll stop doing that. Snooper now on the defensive. Nice little outpost coming up from him. Just keeping line of sight, keeping track of where his enemy's up to. Still no sign of trade just yet. Has he moved over to farms? We're 30 minutes through this game, and not a single farm has been built. Not a single farm has been built. Actually, we can verify that. No, we can't, because we're on the caster mode. Let's check in on the other side. Okay, so Lash has built farms. He's got 13 vills on farms. He's also got farms under the town center. So Snooper doing a really good job of taking advantage of this map. There is so much food on this map. And Snooper continuing throughout the game to just be a little bit nomadic. He's not playing the Mongols, but he's role-playing as them. Still plenty of food here. It's crazy. No farms for 30 minutes. This map's a little bit ludicrous in that regard. But I don't really have a problem with that. My main issue is like the spawns, right? Like your sacred site spawning in a forest. You know, sometimes you get deer patches that spawn in forests. You get stone mines that spawn in forests. There's a lot of things that spawn in forests. Forests seem to be the main issue on this map. I think if you can fix the forest, you can probably fix the map. Keep still holding it down. No fertilization through just yet for the Snoop Dogg. The number's starting to build for him, though. 72 military pop against 42. And this is the consequence of losing those military schools. Second town center going to be coming up from Lash. Interesting decision to go for a second TC. See, this is where I feel like trade is just so much better at this point in the game. Second TC makes sense if you're at like 7 minutes or 8 minutes in, but at this point in the game, just start trading. But you're not even going to be able to do that. Snooper's just securing the map, and hold on a minute. We'll talk about trade another day because we got a little bit of a problem. Lash is pushing in. He's going to be heading towards this keep, or rather, Snooper's pushing in. Lash going to be on the defensive. Gets some shots off, hits the first of the Springles. It's going to be a 1-for-1 though. We enter into the cinematic mode as the Janissaries begin tagging on that back line, just slicing through all these units, and Snooper going to be pulling a real upper hand here. The keep going to be firing down upon the units below it. Managing to just slice through all of those spearmen. Look at them, the numbers that it's doing here. Going to be focusing down the men-at-arms as well. And you can see why this position just can't really be pushed. Lash going to be able to hold on a little bit longer here. Definitely losing a little bit too many units. Probably wanting to fight under the keep a bit more than what he did, unfortunately. We'll bring back the UI as the sacred sites start getting captured. He's got sacred site number 1, sacred site number 2, and number 3 all captured up now. You're about to see that sacred victory triggered as the very first sacred site does come through, and he's just using palisade walls to defend it. Now, interesting to note that by doing this, he also covers the corners. And by covering the corners, there's no threat of trade. By the same token, you can also look for trade yourself. I can't believe we've seen 33 minutes into a game in an Ottoman mirror where not a single trade has come out. It's a little bit crazy, but the sacred victory is now approaching. Snooper going to be looking to seal this one out. A little bit more of a religious manner. We mentioned it earlier. Seems like while there might be some Australians that aren't necessarily religious, we've found one that is. Snooper. Won't need to be praying for this fight, though. I can tell you that much. This fight is definitely going to be going in favor of Snooper. Lash is going to have to fall back towards this keep. He needs to hold on a little bit longer. The Janissary number's looking solid. And Snooper managing to come from behind. Springald's moving forward, but he's completely eviscerated at this point. There's no army here. 17 military pop. I got no idea where they are. Snooper going for a little bit of a counterattack to the north, and Lash going to be tapping out. Good game going to be getting called. Fellas, go and check out these two creators. Lash, he's from Germany. He streams on Twitch. Snooper, Australian. He also streams on Twitch. Both of these guys, amazing players, amazing content creators, and great friends of mine. So go check them out. Go say good day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.